What's up? It's Chris from StonefoxMedia, and I hope everyone's having a blessed day. Now, I have to tell you guys, I'm a little bit shocked about this Monster Hunter news that just came out. As you know, in a couple of days, Monster Hunter World is going to be coming out, and the file size that's been released for it is actually the strangest thing I've ever seen for a game that's supposed to be as big as we expect it to be. Monster Hunter World file size for PlayStation 4 is 16 gigabytes. You're not hearing me wrong. It's 16 gigabytes. But this game looks so big. Why is it only 16 gigabytes? I mean, it's less than Persona 5. I mean, Persona 5 is a PS3 port, but it was just a huge game. So I can't imagine that this game would be so small to be brand new and to be as big looking as it looks. Is it just me? But it looks really small. As soon as I saw it, I was like, there's no way. I know like DLC and stuff like that is gonna make it bigger, but when you think about it, that is really small. But in their defense, because I have not played it yet, in their defense, Breath of the Wild is a massive game, and that one's only 14 gigabytes, and they put that thing on a little memory card. So I mean, maybe we might be surprised. I don't understand why it looks so good and looks so big, but it is so small. I don't know, but we'll know January 26th. I just figured I'd let everybody know, just in case you're like thinking it's gonna be a massive game and you got to set aside like 60 gigs. I mean, like this is really small. And in other news, it does look like a Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition has been announced for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So in an ERB listing that basically just came out, it basically tells you that they're going to be getting a Royal Edition. No real date on when it's supposed to come out. We just know it's supposed to come out sometime maybe towards the end of this year, maybe. I can't imagine why they would put it out right now. There's really no reason for it. Maybe in the summer, but basically you're going to get all the DLC and everything like that. That all comes in one package. That's usually what they do when the game is pretty much done and they're like, okay, everybody, complete edition. There's no more dilk coming, so just enjoy it. Me personally, I enjoyed the story of Final Fantasy 15. However, I had to stop playing it because I absolutely hated the battle system. I know you can change it, but for some strange reason, I wasn't feeling. I'm a turn-based person, you know, and it doesn't really feel like Final Fantasy 2, one of my favorites from Super Nintendo, or Chrono Trigger, or even Chrono Cross. You know what I'm saying? Chrono Crusade, but you know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying. I for some reason I like that format, and then when it gets all technical and you got cars and it just takes some of the fantasy element out of it. I don't know why. I mean, I went into shrines, I got swords, I did all this stuff, but then I was just like, why am I not enjoying this? Why? I don't get it. I just don't get it. Persona 5, I'm enjoying. That is what I'm liking. I'm like is it just me? Or Final Fantasy took like a left turn after Final Fantasy 7? Well, no. Final Fantasy 7 was perfect. Final Fantasy 8 was still pretty good. But Final Fantasy 9 is probably the last good one they made with Zidane. That was it. After that, I don't know where Final Fantasy 10 went. It just started branching off. They wanted all this extra nonsense for you to do in the background, and then eventually you just lose your will to want to play it. Like they added in ships and robots, and I mean, I know Ragnarok was already there, but I mean, come on, I mean Ragnarok, whatever they want to call it, that ship was always there, but it was never like this. I don't know. I just feel like it's just too technical. I don't get it. I don't like what they did with Final Fantasy. Take it back to Final Fantasy 7. I can't wait for the remake of Final Fantasy 7, but it does appear that the battling system does look like Final Fantasy 15, which means I might hate it. I don't know. Leave it the same. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And in my final bit of gaming news, I'm having a little bit of concerns for Microsoft right now. And I think of all the games that I'm getting hyped for, this year. And even Nintendo Switch has some good games that apparently are coming out. But it does look like I'm not alone in this. And it looks like Microsoft Analyst does explain why the Xbox One is struggling with their lack of IPs and their single-player games. And they're basically struggling on all single sides. And basically they have no identity. Now, I know a lot of people are probably going to be offended by this. I'm like, I totally get it. I understand. But when you think about it, they really don't have an identity. Sony basically owns the grown-ups right now, okay? They own the grown-ups. And Nintendo has made a comeback as like the kid console that has some grown-up-like elements to it, if you're willing to overlook the fact that it's basically a kid's toy, okay? It is. And I have one, so I can say whatever I want. You can't judge me. But when you look at it on paper, Microsoft really has no reason to exist right now. And I know people are going to get mad at me like, it's the most powerful console this world's ever known. Don't you talk about it. And I'm like, well, hold on. It is the world's most powerful console. But to me, it's like a burger, like a juicy burger that you see and you just want to bite a juicy, wonderful, delicious looking burger. Now, if you took off all the bread and all the fixings, all the onions and all the delicious stuff, and then you just gave someone a hamburger patty, that is what the Xbox One X is. The most powerful, useless console this world's ever known. And I know people are going to be salty about it. I know you're going to be salty, but hear me out. What big major IPs did they have last year? Forza and Cuphead. That's it. Forza was like, it's Forza. It's like another Gran Turismo. You know they're coming. Cuphead was actually pretty good from what I've seen. But they have no major ones. Let's look at the other ones, okay? Like Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and you got the Mario Odyssey, which apparently people were just really loving. They also had some other good games that came out that get people hype. They have Splatoon 2, and they have the new Metroid coming out, and all these random games that are trying to get people hype, and people are just like drooling. You know what I'm saying? So you can't hate on that. I mean, they got Bayonetta and stuff. When you look at Sony, let's look at the games that they had come out this year. I mean, they had Persona 5. Like one of the best RPGs to come out. Neo, Nier Automata, Yakuza 0, Gravity Rush, you know what I'm saying? Horizon Zero Dawn, and then they have other games that are coming that are going to get people hyped too. I mean, they got some pretty good games coming. I mean, they got like, The Last of Us and, God of War, lowercase g. I mean, I know a lot of people like lowercase g, God of War, because I don't know. I just never got into it. It was just never my thing. I mean, I always heard good things about it, but I just never kind of got hype about it. But when you think about it, they have a lot of big games that are coming out this year, like Spider-Man and Days Gone, and you know what I'm saying? Like they got some games that are getting people, some heavy hitters are coming, okay? And then you look over here and then you just got like, what do they got coming out this year? Crackdown, I mean, okay, Sea of Thieves looks pretty decent. State of Decay, I mean, it's got some positives to it, but if they don't get a handle on this no exclusives, no new IP thing, then they're going to have some serious problems coming in the future. If they got to push this stuff back to make 2018 seem like it's a year with something in it, that is not good. You can't rely on the third parties to support you. You just can't. I know Nintendo with the Wii, they originally relied on their first party IPs, and then they didn't have any third parties, and that killed them. So if you rely on just third parties and you have no first parties and no exclusives, then you're going to get killed no matter what, okay? And for some reason, Sony is the balance between both of them, okay? I know people are like, there's still a debate on who won the console. Well, no, it's not. No, it's not. It's Sony won, and Nintendo is bringing up second. Now, they're going to bring up second. They're going to catch the Xbox One, and I'm willing to bet they're going to catch them pretty soon. I mean, Nintendo's planning on selling like, 20 million of them this year? That'll put them right there in Xbox territory. You'll be caught up by the Nintendo Switch, a console that they didn't even try. So Microsoft needs to find their identity. They need to find their soul. They need to find out what they want to be when they grow up. Because just giving everybody the most powerful brick that's ever existed, you can get a PC. And you can get tons of games on Steam and stuff. So why do you need this $500 super console with no exclusives? This is not a good look. I'm sorry, I know I just made a lot of people mad. We were like, and probably gonna have people tell me, well, they're gonna have some games coming out. I mean, really? Are they? Are they really? Are their first party studios the best? They have never been the best, and they've been out for a while. The Xbox brand, they've been out for a minute. They've been out there since Dreamcast days, going back. They're going way back. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't even remember what year, 2003 maybe? Like I was still dealing with Xbox, 2002. So this console isn't new. Microsoft needs to have more first party games coming out. I mean, Halo was a big deal, but you can only make Halo 20 before eventually people were like, okay, not another Halo 20. Horizon Zero Dawn is a breath of fresh air. I'm sorry, it just is. It was like, ooh, buttery. So, I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, you got Shadow of the Colossus and all these other games for, Sony, and then you got the Nintendo games, which is getting people hyped, making people drool all over the place with their IPs coming out, and they're kid games, but they're getting people hyped. There's no hype coming from Microsoft. They're like, ooh, look at the Crackdown. I'm like, does Crackdown really look that awesome? No, it doesn't. It actually hurts my eyes a little bit. I'm sorry. It's ugly to look. It's ugly. It's ugly. Someone needs to paint it a different color. Well, that's all the news I got for you guys right now. Like, subscribe, follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook, so as soon as my news becomes available. Thank you guys for watching. God bless, and I'll holler at y'all later.